promised, I'm live this morning with Olga Lipkovics. She is the Family Wellbeing Coach. She's impressed with me that I actually pronounced her name right because we've been practicing before this. Okay, so Olga has started an incredible nonprofit organization with a couple of friends called Possibility Corner. So we want to talk about that today, but I just wanted to introduce you first. I know that you are the Family Wellbeing Coach, Olga, and this has been something that you have wanted to do for years. So I just want you to introduce what your vision and your dream has been for all of these years and how it's now coming to fruition.
Ooh, awesome. Thank you so much for having me here, first of all. And so this whole concept of the family wellbeing coach came to me when I have been already working with families back then, when I started to have families and with my first baby. When I started to help moms with baby wearing and breastfeeding and co-sleeping and all these alternative way of raising children kind of stories. And I was the alien of Cape Town with all these concepts. And I went to baby clinics to just educate moms and families. And then eventually it actually grew into this family wellbeing coach concept where all different kind of areas of life, I started to meet families and work with families at different ages and stages of their children's life. So that's how it all started. And I have this dream of the Family Wellbeing Center. One day it's going to happen. And it's going to have the 4 pillars: education, health, wealth, happiness. And Possibility Corner falls into the first pillar,
education
concept as per education, because with our co-founders Jenny Watkins and Rosley Sibanda, we decided that we're going to take this method of stress release and the method that can help children to focus better to the community and the schools in Khayelitsha in Cape Town.
Right. So it's education and health. I mean, particularly mental health and anxiety and depression. I know. Wow. So who did you have in mind when you first started your business? Who do you serve?
Well, it was all the moms who had high expectations about them being a mom and not to know what to do, because nobody teaches that at schools. And then you fall into the guilt and shame and blame and judgments every single day that I'm not doing it right. And obviously I have experienced it for myself. And then I realized it's like there must be some solution. There must be a group of people who is experiencing the same. And there is not many, because we are all ashamed of our failures. We're not willing to go and be vulnerable and say, it's like, I have no idea what I'm doing here. I'm just trying to keep this child alive at any age and any stage. And then, it just started that because I opened up, as I was in communication with moms and with families, then they opened up. Right. And then it grew.
Amazing. Oh, I love that, because so many moms that I've spoken to over the years have got so much mom guilt. Mom guilt is a big thing. And just always feeling like they weren't doing it right or should be doing it differently. And yeah, we've all had that. Every one of us as moms have felt some kind of mom guilt somewhere along the track. Yeah.
Actually, the hidden agenda in this was the children. So when you ask me who was on my mind, it's like actually the children, but it's like the children are the children. And so we have to, as adults, be there for them and show them a different way of being and existing in this reality. So technically, we have to have the moms and the families.
Yeah. So you're working with a whole family, aren't you? Yes.
Yeah. Most of the time, yeah.
And as a mother yourself, you've spoken about the difficult side of motherhood, but what has been the number one highlight of motherhood for you?
When I eventually gave up in the very beginning to wanting to make it right, I realized that actually I just have to allow myself to be the child. And so when I went down to that level, well, went up to that height, to be actually correct, that's when I could see the reality from their point of view, when you are sitting on the ground with them and playing. And so the allowance of me to play as a child again, and anytime I'm opting in with my children and with anybody else's children, it is the highlight of every single day and every single moment when I allow myself to be that.
Oh, that is so inspiring. I love that. And is there a book, a song, or a movie that has had a huge significance or meaning in your life?
There is actually plenty. But one of the crazy inspiration was Stephen Biddulph, who wrote the book of raising children, raising boys, raising girls, and eventually raising children. And so when I read his book and his perspective, and the perspective based on the research that he did as a clinical psychologist, then it was like, okay, so I'm not that far from the truth. That was a really, really great confirmation. And the books of Access Consciousness was the other really, really inspiring and life-changing experience when I started to use the tools when my first baby, my daughter, was about 4 years old. And then the implementation of the tools and the methods changed everybody's life, obviously, not just mine. And therefore it became the main toolkit that I'm offering to my clients, to the families I'm working with as well.
Do you have a favorite Access Consciousness book? For those who aren't Access Consciousness people who are watching this, they might not know the names of the books.
This is the one.
Oh, would you teach a fish to climb a tree? I love that. And that's something Albert Einstein said, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, because he knew, we are still catching up with him, that everybody is different. He did not even speak for 4 years. Why? Because everything was all right, Mom. I didn't need to ask for anything. But he said.
That's amazing. Yeah.
So this one is, would you teach a fish to climb a tree? It's a revolutionary book for every family who's living and loving children labeled with ADHD, OCD, autism, any other labels. I'm just getting the angel's bumps each time I'm talking about this.
I know that Access Consciousness has quite a unique perspective on children who have all these diagnoses. I'd love you to expand on that, because I've been to your workshop where you had all of the different people explaining how it's really a gift and not what the medical science is calling it a disorder. Do you see it that way?
Well, I see it in a completely different way, obviously. Through experience of my own children is that when you allow the children to grow and develop in their own pace, then you don't function from expectations and wanting them to fit into that box where they're supposed to be at age 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 by the time they get the diagnosis, because each child is developing differently. And when they have the space to grow organically, we love this word organic, except when it comes to children's development, then they actually first discover their natural talents. And from there, you can build up all the other academic outcomes and results and expectations, because they know who they are. They are functioning from their own desire. Yeah. And they know they can learn that, yes, this has to be done because in this reality, we function on this and this and this way. And I believe that children who is not fitting in and behaving inappropriately in a certain environment, it's because they don't know how to be themselves, because they're not allowed to be themselves in most of the situations, and many times including at home. So that's part of the journey, because us parents have the highest expectations towards our children. And we have to work through that. And then when we become the child, when we allow ourselves to become the child and see the world from their perspective, then it can change.
And also, I think what parents often realize when they get these diagnoses is that they also have ADHD or they also have ADD, and they were misunderstood as children and put into those boxes themselves. But because they've pushed it down for so long and been what the world told them to be because it was drummed into them for so long, it's really hard for them to relate and to allow. So, wow, it's a huge subject, a huge subject.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the more you allow yourself to be you,
yes,
you are actually helping your children to find themselves without being the expected outcome of the parent. Because many times we are not aware of the fact that we are recreating our childhood, what we could not have through our children. And that's okay. But being in it with awareness is the key. So then we can create from there.
Exactly. Wow. So tell me more about Possibility Corner and your hopes and plans for the year with Possibility Corner. So introduce it to everybody so they understand what you're doing.
Okay. So Possibility Corner happened completely unexpectedly and miraculously, and with such a speed that I have never experienced in my entire life when it comes to creating projects, creating and actualizing projects. So what happened is that I had a couple of trainings for families to learn access consciousness, the bars, as a tool to create a different dynamic in the family. And from one of these classes, these are half-day classes, and then one of the moms who has been receiving the access bar sessions for like 10, 15 weeks already, she said, it's like, you know that I would like to do this for real. What should I do? So I went and explained, it's like, okay, you become a practitioner and then we take it from there. Mm-hmm. And then so a couple of weeks later, she became a practitioner. She could actually facilitate the process as a professional. And during the conversations after that class, she said, you know, I would just love to work with you on this because this has to be all over the places. And it's like, exactly, because it can be absolutely used anywhere to release stress without talking about your traumas, without going back into the past and reliving those moments. It's a silent stress release method. And because of that, people open up and become more and more vulnerable towards each other. Therefore, the dynamic in the family changes. Therefore, the dynamic in the schools can change. Therefore, the dynamic in the workplace can change. And so we started to brainstorm and we realized that she has incredible connections in the communities in Khayelitsha. So then she organized a meeting for the 1st of November, and then it turned out that it wasn't just the chairman of the Khayelitsha school governing body, but all the representatives of the Khayelitsha schools, the 65 schools. It was postponed to the 3rd of November, and we had to be ready in like 2 days with a presentation of what we are offering and a registered non-profit organization and all these jazz, because, you know, we want to be professional and we are professionals. So in 2 days, literally, Possibility Corner came to live. We invited one of the certified facilitators, Jenny Watkins, to be the 3rd founding members of Possibility Corner. And then the story just started to unfold in an incredible speed. So we had the presentation on the 3rd of November. We had another demonstration day on the 16th of December. And we had our first training day for the teachers at Inkanini Primary School in Khayelitsha on the 16th of January. Wow. And we are about to have our first class this coming Friday for the first students in that same school at Inkanini for the grade 7 students.
It's happening. It's really happening. It's so amazing. It's 2 months. It's 2 months, and you've got this all going. It's 3 months now, November, December, January. Incredible.
Yes. and with such an ease. It's like when just things are falling into place, people are showing up, people are saying, yes, I would love to be in it. Yes, I can contribute. Yes, here is the contribution to the printing, so then you can have the class. He started to receive contributions from all over the world. Thanks for Katarina Valentin, who is the facilitator for bars in business and bars in schools in general at the Access Consciousness team. And so she spread the word about the project, and we are in constant communication with all the people all over the world. And yeah, it's just absolutely beautiful.
Oh, and how is it being received by the teachers? So you've taught the teachers, and how are they enjoying it? Have you seen results with them?
So what was very interesting is that when we had the training and I was chatting with the principal, and then I told him, I know that when you said yes to us back then in December, you had no idea what we were about to bring into your team. And he said, yes, that's correct. But on the training day, people just actually started to just relax. And all the information what we shared and the tools what we shared on that day just started to sink in instantaneously. And they started to enjoy that way of being in their body, which is relaxed.
Wow.
And the changes on the faces, the look at us, it's like, you're looking like this, and it's like, oh, thank you. It was just absolutely beautiful. Most of them just knew where are the points, because the access bars is like we are touching 32 points on the head, and very lightly, and it's just their fingers just fell into place, and it was absolutely beautiful. So it was very, very well received. We are about to go to the school on Friday, and our arrangement with the school is that we're going to have trainings every second week on Friday for the children, so then we can train everybody at the school. And so each time we are there, we are going to get our little survey going to all the people who has already learned the technique and have received the sessions, so then we can have appropriate feedback. And so the implementation is also monitored in that way, because they also committed that the worst case scenario is that they're gonna run each other's bars as the teachers now, the first group, every second week. So I'm trusting that when we are there, they're gonna do that. So then we can be there while they are doing that, because that's my key dream, is to actually have a proper implementation at every school where we are taking the method and teaching it, so they can benefit from it. Because it changes, because already on the training it changes a lot, but regular usage of the method and the tools, it's what is going to create the shift. And because of that, we are going to create possibility corners and classrooms, or depends on the space. We even had the idea to raise funds for possibility containers, because this school specifically is built up with containers. So then maybe we can create a dedicated container where the children can go, and that's where they can have their yoga mats or gravity chairs where they can receive the sessions. We are planning to put up the posters on the walls with the other tools, the questions and everything, to remind them to use these tools. So we have this all planned, and in fact our sustainability model is to take the concept of stress relief and offering bars in business, take it to corporates and any kind of businesses, any size of businesses, and any other schools, private schools as well, where they can actually become contributors to the possibility corners what we are creating in Khayelitsha. So their investment into the program, into the training what we would provide, could contribute or partially contribute to the project in Khayelitsha. So
that's amazing. So if anybody's listening on this call who works for a shipping line and has some containers around, are you looking for 20-foot containers or 40-foot containers? What sort of size container are you needing? Don't know. Okay.
Any?
Okay, any container will do. So if
Yes.
anybody knows anyone who's got containers that they can give away to the project, that would be amazing. If anybody knows anyone at a school, a private school or any kind of school that could also run this program in the school and then donate some of the money back into the Khayelitsha project, that would also be amazing.
Yes.
So that's the kind of things you're looking for right now. But I'm guessing I can just see those containers that you would probably paint them with your beautiful Possibility Corner logo and have some gorgeous things inside that would make it really inviting. So what's your vision going forward? Will the teachers be giving the access bars to the children, or will the children be giving access bars to each other? How is it going to roll out?
Since everybody's going to be trained at the school, it's infinite
anybody. So children can give it to teachers, teachers can give it to children can give it to children, etc.
And the beauty is that once you learn the technique, the children as well as the teachers can take it home and run their friends and families bars as well. So they can actually take it. And the numbers are that in the 65 schools in Khayelitsha, there is about 90,000 children and teachers, but they can all take it home.
Right.
So it's going to be a so much greater scale of people who we actually can reach out to these projects.
Incredible. And tell me about your own children, because I know that your daughter is one of the youngest people to learn access bars, and your son's just learned as well. So talk a bit about that too.
Okay, so when I came across access consciousness, that was about 11 years ago, and my daughter was 4. And I was raising her on the way that she came with me everywhere, wherever I went. So including the access consciousness trainings and training days. So she was 4 when she technically became a facilitator, because she has attended 3 different classes with me. And the beauty is that when in the normal environment an adult attends the class, then the children under age 15 are receiving it for free. So obviously she was with me, she got the certificate, and then she was running my bars back then and her dad's bars whenever we needed at home, and she was using the tools. So yeah, so it was really, really cute. The tiny little 4 years old is working on someone's head. Yes, and my son, who I just trained somewhere middle of last year to become a practitioner, and he was with us on our demo day, helping to actually facilitate the demo process during our presentation to the school, together with another very young practitioner, Rosley's daughter, who also became a practitioner with her mom as I was training her. And so the 2 of them were running the children's bars like a machine in 5 minutes, done. It was amazing to see. And then the children came out from these demo sessions, and then they was like, it was like heaven.
So little, yeah.
Yes,
it's so quick. I know when I work on my son, he can tolerate about 5 to 10 minutes tops. I think the longest session he's had is maybe 15, 20 minutes when he's been really sick. But children don't need a lot, and then they're good to go. So you could do it really quickly and have an amazing benefit for maybe a child who's stressing out or feeling anxious, or I can imagine this before exam, when people are going into exams, if they know the bars, it must be amazing.
One of the facilitators who was there with us on the teachers training, in the video we created about that day, she talks about her experiences, because she has been taking that to high schools already, and they used it consciously as a method of stress release and help for concentration before metric. And it was absolutely incredible how those children who was receiving the bars went into metric with a completely different state of mind.
Oh, I can imagine. And even for the studying for metric, I was just going in to see if we had any questions on the live video, but we don't have any questions. But I think you're covering it really well.
I'm glad. So yeah, so these are the plans for the year, is to actually complete the program. Well, when we have the amount of funds, then our plan is to roll it out in one go, to actually have as many facilitators as we need to roll it out in the schools simultaneously. So that would be the big, crazy, hairy dream.
Wow. So are you going to actually train up facilitators at the schools? Are you talking about it will be people in Khayelitsha becoming facilitators?
Either way, because it's a process in a sense of we can create facilitators out of the practitioners who already exist in the country, okay, and city, so to help them train up to become facilitators so they can go independently and train the classes. So that's one of them. We also perceive that some of the teachers or some of the social workers or some of the parents want to become facilitators or at least practitioners who then can help us in the school with the implementation and being there as a contact, from the local communities for us to be more present in the community. So we are open to all possibilities. In fact, one of our aim is to see the matriculants who's finishing matric at the end of the year and has learned the technique and benefited from the technique. They might want to become practitioners and later on facilitators. So then we can actually place them to the corporates, place them to the businesses, and empower them to create a different way of life.
So it's creating jobs within your nonprofit as well. Yeah. So you'd be giving jobs to the community as well. I think that would be amazing. The other thing I thought that would work really well is if they have a sick room at the school and there's a nurse, maybe that person could also be trained. That would be amazing.
So the aim is to be literally aiming to train every single person in the school, from the janitor to the principal.
Wow. Principals even doing it. That's fantastic.
Yeah. Absolutely. With the teachers training, we have trained the principal, we have trained the school governing body members. So everybody who's involved with the children is trained. And we have already another school who is not from the Khayelitsha area. We have in the queue because they would like to be part of the project as well. Actually visiting them again on Wednesday. They are in Plumstead and their name is Douglas Road Primary School. That's a smaller, much smaller scale school, which makes it a bit easier and faster project. It's only 250 children only. 200 in the school, and we just met with the principal and she's absolutely amazing and open to work with us and roll out the training and the whole program in her school.
How big is the first school that you're working with then? If that's
the Inkanini Primary School is 1,420 children.
Wow.
And there's just one primary schools in Khayelitsha. This is the average, 1,500, in between 1,300 and 1,500 children in one school.
Wow.
And around about 50 to 40 to 60 teachers. I mean, just these numbers are like incredible. The first grade 7 class at Inkanini Primary we are about to train is 54 children.
54 children in one class.
Yes.
Wow.
For one teacher.
One teacher, one class, 54 kids. Wow. Sure. So that is going to make the world of difference to them.
Yes.
To them. Wow. Incredible. So just for everyone who is brand new to Access Bars, can you list some of the benefits of receiving bars? Actually, there is one comment. I'm going to see if it's a question. Sharon Rose Innes would like to know, how does one get training? I will put you in touch with Sharon. I've got her details.
Thank you so much.
So that you can train her. Sharon homeschooled her children. Really amazingly. They've done incredibly well. And the other thing that she does is she has babies who come to her for the first 3 months of their life before they get adopted. Yes. You're going to love to meet Sharon, and she's just a pillar of the community as well. Yeah.
You know, you can run the bars even on newborn babies. Well, I have been receiving bars during my entire pregnancy. My second child, my son, he is a full-blown access baby. He knows the bars points from inside out, literally. So the training we are offering at the schools is a half-day training, 2-3 hours. For children, it's 2 hours because they are learning very fast and they are receiving very fast and gifting very fast. So it's a short 2 hours training for the children. And it was 4 hours training for teachers because we have given so much more theories and getting them to get the concept. But these are the trainings we are offering to anyone who's interested. It's a half-day training for families, for teachers, schools, corporates. Depends on what is their need. We can tailor-made it, obviously. And the full-day training that gives the certificate. So someone who is receiving the full-day class become a certified access bars practitioner. And then from there, the requirements are to have 3 different classes with 3 different facilitators from all over the world to become a facilitator, so you can actually start teaching the method. And that is, so the founders of Access made it very accessible, very easy to learn, very easy to get to the point where you can actually become a practitioner and practice it and become a facilitator to train it, so we can spread this technique all over very fast.
And anyone training with you now, would they have a chance of participating in the project and being able to go into schools? Or do they have to become a facilitator first to be part of that?
So way of teaching the children, we are planning it on a way that we're going to have facilitators as well as practitioners, because the practitioners can also help us to show the points because they have had the training, so they technically know, but only facilitators who can teach the class. So recently, actually this weekend, I just had 2 families in the full-day class, and one of the families who purposefully chosen to do the practitioner training so they can come and contribute to our project in Khayelitsha. They are very sweet and they are from America, so it's amazing.
Amazing. And I've been trained by you as well.
Thank you so much.
I can really vouch for your training. It was Olga that introduced me to Access Bars. Just a little side story here. And Olga was in my first training training me, and then she had trained someone up who had just become a bars facilitator. So she was also at my second bars training. And then Adriana did my third one. So I've actually had my 3 bars classes, but I'm not yet a facilitator.
Time to activate it.
I need to press that button.
Yes. Now you have a good cause, because then you can come and join us.
I've got a couple of schools in mind that I'd really like to get involved. I was involved with a school when I was at the kids' gym. They worked with a school called Molenbeek with special needs children. And I think that would be an amazing school to work with and bring bars into. So I love that people are interested and we're getting the word out, and we'll try and get the word out to more and more people. Is there anything else you would like to say about the project, or any message you'd want to share about why this work is so important to you?
It's such a joyful act being there when we are training the families and the children and the teachers. It's really the energies what is there. And then when at the end of the trainings you have the relaxed, smiling, hugging, very grateful people around you, it's just creating a completely different reality all of a sudden. And you know, my name is the acronym for living life with open, loving, grateful attitude. And each moment when we finish a training, that's exactly what shines through every single person. That open, they just taller, they just more open, they just breathe on a different way. And it's really beautiful to experience. So yeah, that's why.
Oh,
Thank
that's
you.
so beautiful. Thank you so much. I know you've got limited time and loads of things to do, but if there's anything else you want to say, now's your chance.
I think I have said everything. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Lauren. Thank you
I
so much.
love what you're doing and I support it. Yeah, big time. I think it's just
Thank you.
absolutely amazing what you're doing. And it's something this world needs and our city of Cape Town needs. I hope that the city of Cape Town is listening to this. You're going to get some press and let's hope that you're going to really get a lot of support.
Thank you. We are ready to receive. Now we are at the point that we have the evidence that we are doing what we are talking about. So we are ready to enter into the next phase where we are about to go to different fundraising platforms to set up our project information and approach anyone and everyone, embassies or schools, international schools. So if anybody knows anybody who is at these spaces who would like to connect us to them, it would be truly appreciated, because that's our next step, to actually bring in the right amount of funds so then we can roll out the project on a big scale, and then we can actually complete our project in the next 2-3 years.
Right. So, are you looking for someone who actually runs your fundraising division?
Show me the people.
You are looking for help.
Anyway, right now we are doing what we are capable of doing on our own, but if we could get professional help, we are open to all possibilities. We already have a board member who is from America, who has an American-based nonprofit organization, who is willing and supporting us with her organization. So if somebody in America wants to support us and fund us, then we can do it through her organization as well. So we are ready to work with anyone who could see the possibility corner.
I can't believe how much you have accomplished in these first 3 months. Who came up with the idea of Possibility Corner? I love that name.
So that was, again, we were using the access consciousness tools on our meetings. When you register a company, you have to give 4 names. And all 3 of us were coming up with names. And then we were muscle testing the names, what was coming up, what was actually resonating with the project. And then so we gave the names, and then the next day when we got the registration and the registration number, this name was accepted. So we had 4 choices, which we were all happy with. And then the system, because of the previous registrations, this was the name. And then when we got the name, it's like, wow, this is amazing. And that's when I was like, oh wow, this is how we are changing the naughty corners into possibility corners.
I love it. I love it. No more naughty corners.
No more.
I do think that Generation School is going to love this as well. I'm going to definitely talk to them.
Take it there. Take it there. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Olga. Thank you.
Yeah. Super exciting. And thank you so much again for having me here. Thank you.
Absolute pleasure. Always.
Thank
Lots
you.
of love.